Oh, look. You came back. I knew you'd come back. Or did I? Maybe I just recorded this because I'd hoped you'd come back. Anyways, thank you for coming back. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you're ready for another episode full of shenanigans and heartbreak. Anyways, here's the show.
Last time on the Phantoms of Talva.
Somebody please explain to me what you saw, one at a time.
You know that toy where it has like a ball and a string and you have to get it back into the hole? I'm going to be doing that with Whirly Powers. I will have made that a while back and I just have been playing with that.
Arthur, you've been around a long time. What do you know about the kobolds and the worship of Necrochromia and the Offender and the Knights of Kree?
It's a fond childhood memory, in a sense.
So she would immediately run up to where that book was, look around as if to find it somewhere, and she's like, no. Where did the book go? And then she just kind of looks back to the missing hilt. Oh boy, I hope this is not related.
You take one last good look into the bucket, and immediately your attention is drawn to a silver hair that begins to show itself just under the red. Seems that lizard you brought with you is still clinging to some of its old ways.
I would like to know these ways it's clinging to and to inform you that he was the assistant who brought it with her.
What I consider good, you might consider evil.
You remember last time, Arthur basically broke Chaff out of prison, brought him to his museum, proceeded to look for Hannah, while Hannah was running her own series of errands. And eventually you two finally met up in the town square, at which point you heard the mayor cry out to you from the entrance of the town hall, and all the soldiers are on alert.
I thought you said they surrounded us. Did they not?
I mean, yes, they're all standing around the town square, so you are technically surrounded, yes.
My character looks at Arthur very disgruntled. I'm not going down with you, old man.
I'm trying to think of what to say to both embarrass Hannah and get me out of this. Alright, let me talk to myself like an insane person. Like me, myself, and Irene over here.
Hello, Irene.
Let me see. It was the mayor, right?
That was the mayor. Unmistakably the mayor.
No, mayor! What do I owe the pleasure?
Do not play games with me, Arthur. You know exactly what you did.
It was Hannah. She was in disguise self. Look, she's guilty. No.
You actually right now.
Bro.
No.
I will literally destroy you on the spot if you say that.
Now, Mayor, whatever could you be referring to?
At this point, the guard's kind of like inching closer to you guys, and the mayor huffs, adjusts herself, and starts walking over towards you.
And the guards are all pointing their weapons at me? Really just close?
They're not pointing weapons. They are closing in, though, around the square as they see the mayor clearly upset coming at you. She says, "You know that you impersonated me to get that prisoner out. You are the only person in this town capable of doing such a trick.
My character's just nervously like, what the hell?
I'm just gonna look at all the guards. Would there be like a thing to call them? Not like insulting, but is there like a general term for the guards in this town?
Officer?
Bruh.
Guard?
The boys in blue, something like that? The
They
5-0?
ironically are in blue, yes.
The boys in blue. Okay, I'm gonna use that then.
I mean, they're the Republic Army, so like you would probably just call them the Guard.
Oh, please, Mayor. If you have anything to talk about, send away the boys in blue. You know very well how slippery I can be if I wanted to.
Hannah gets closer to him and whispers, I don't think that's the best argument. Just saying.
Arthur, that is not the point here. And you, what are you whispering to him? Listen, things are tense enough around here. I do not need you complicating things with your tricks and your shenanigans. Where is the kobold? If you hand him over now, I will overlook this.
I will not be handing over the kobold. You, of all people, should know I value my knowledge. And he has some that I do not. If you want it back, allow me to gather what I want from it.
And why can you not do that from the holding cell, Arthur?
Oh, that's simple, really. Just straighten myself out, looking proper. Tell me, if I were to chain you against the wall, how much would you like to tell me?
We have other methods of making him talk if that is your concern.
He must talk of his own accord. With my wings fluttering out. I must know the truth and not something he thinks I want to hear.
My character kind of pipes up and she's like, I didn't really take you guys for the torturing sort either. Because quite frankly, that would just be wrong. He doesn't seem to have done anything heinous from what I've observed.
She glares at Hannah. Nothing wrong. You certainly must not be from Talva if you do not know the disgusting acts that the worshippers of Necrochronomia commit. And she looks back at Arthur. You have been in this town much longer than I. That is the only reason that I am not putting you under arrest at this moment. And I don't care how much magic you have, Arthur. But, as it stands, we too need him to speak. If you truly believe that having him in your tower is the best, then at the very least we will be putting guards around it. Do not think for a second that you can just do whatever you want in this town. This is my town. I am responsible for it, not you. Whatever is in those caves north of here, he knows about it.
You may think I act a fool, but I am as responsible for this town as you are. The very road you stand on, I helped build when this town was young. I will not let it fall into ruin.
Then why would you not come to me and ask, Arthur?
Well, I trusted you would see as I do. And I just lower my wings back down. And to be frank, the captain of the guard, he would give me too much paperwork to fill out.
You're going to have to fill out even more now. A fool, Arthur.
Would a fool not have an assistant to do the paperwork? Thanks, Hannah, for agreeing to do that.
No, man, you're on your own. I don't get paid for this.
Okay, so... it was a good try, though. But you, of all people, should know, as I've already said, information is my greatest commodity. That kobold has more information I want. So as long as it doesn't feel pressured to answer, I believe I will get the information both of us will enjoy. And as long as your guards do not scare it.
I need you to roll me a persuasion check. And the DC is 15, and you are not allowed to use your silver dice.
Oh, what? You can't tell if I'm using it or not.
I want to see a live feed of you rolling.
I don't have a camera. Alright. For this one time, since you asked, I'm going to use the silver one. I use this gold one.
No, use whichever dice you want. I don't care. I was saying that for funsies.
No, it's already too late. I'm going to use this gold one. Wait, that's so passes. Ha ha! Screw you!
What'd you get?
I got an 11 plus 4.
Okay, so you just hit it.
Yes.
She knits her brow, sighs, takes in a breath, calms herself. And you're familiar with this expression on the mayor. It's an expression of her allowing you to do something she completely disagrees with and thinks will end badly. And she looks over at Hannah. Young lady, Hannah.
She's looking at her.
If you truly wish to assist this wizard, keep him out of trouble.
Well, to be fair, he did that when I was not with him.
I know. He does whatever he pleases. And someday, she points up at you, Arthur. It's going to get you killed.
My character's nodding in agreement, like, yes.
There will be guards posted around the tower. I will not take no for an answer. And you have until tomorrow evening. Is that understood?
I want to say something, but it sounds cruel. I'm going to think about it. I'll weigh the pros and cons. Throw Hannah under the bus if I can.
I will beat you.
You are already in very deep water right now.
All right. Tomorrow evening, right? Tomorrow evening? That's not nearly enough time to gather everything from its mind.
That is all that you have, Arthur. In case you forgot, you're also supposed to be making for us a smoke bomb. Or did you think that these cultists would be hiding in their hole forever? Gods only know if they've found a way out by now. Who knows what we will find in there when we do arrive.
I see your point. You win this time. I will head back, but you will not harm the kobold.
Not unless he gives us reason to.
Very well. Then I see this conversation as concluded. Come along, Hannah, before you cause more trouble.
She kind of looks at you, like, really annoyed, but she's like, actually, I had other plans, and she starts headed towards the inn.
And the mayor signals for the guards to kind of stand post around the tower, the museum, and she eyes Hannah over as Hannah makes her way for the inn.
That's all right if you're going to the inn instead. Just know that there's some real grouches probably going to be blocking your way to the entrance of the museum now.
And she turns around. She's like, that's okay. I don't mind. I'll make it worth the while. She's got like a mischievous grin.
I'll make it worth their while. All right.
No,
Okay,
not like that. No. I'll make it worth my while, and then she. No. Stop. I'll have a good. Okay, I'm done. All right. She says, "I'm not worried about that. Everyone knows I'm your apprentice." And then she just kind of waves off. And she walks away.
I'm just gonna walking by, making sure I'm earshot of the guards of my museum, but out of earshot of the way of the mayor. Yes. They understand that you're my apprentice, but it seems as of late, people are forgetting the weight my name carries. And then I go in the museum.
The guards just eye you sharply.
Don't you be doing that, I sharp eye them back. I do the two fingers point at my eyes and just... No, I don't. I just walk in with my...
So you get shot.
I'm dead, dude.
7th time this week.
All right.
Just as a little like annoyance to them, I'll just, as I'm walking in, just do like the ooh, almost gotcha. Just like the jump scare with my wings. Because if they're like positioned at my museum, I'm assuming they're like one is on the either side of the door, at least one's by a door.
There's like a lot of extra people out this time, especially everyone seems very on guard because of what's happened on the Garrosh estate. So they're not like, classic, a guard on each side of the door type thing. When they post around your museum, they're looking towards the museum. They're out in the square, not exactly up against the walls.
No, I'm still gonna do it. Just as I'm grabbing the doors to open the museum, just like a hand on each handle for the doors, the double doors, and as I just push them forward, and just also push out my wings as far as they go, and just good day, gentlemen.
Tan dramático.
See?
The doors open in? That's not up to code.
I hate doors that open outwards. I made the museum, I would make them go in, and I would not put a fire escape.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you are inside the museum now with Chaff, who is completely oblivious to everything that just transpired outside.
I am also surrounded by stacks of books, happily reading while sitting on top of one stack of books. I glance up at the top of the shelf and point at it while glaring at you.
Seems you have a liking of books. What's this one you're trying to reach for? You're pointing at a book right now, and the book says, How to Become a Demigod in 3 Easy Steps for Dummies.
Alright, I'll take that.
It would just be a tome of ice magic tome.
Oh, it's not the How to Become a Demigod in 3 Easy Steps?
And so I grab it off the shelf and hand it to you.
I gingerly crack it open and start reading first page.
What language is this in?
What was the family where I got most of this stuff from? They would be that, presumably.
You would have gotten a lot of this from the capital of Ivergrad. From the old library, or from the...
Oh, Elvish.
Yeah, or from the actual estate itself.
Alright, so it's an Elvish then. Yeah, I'll just point at the starter page. Just like running my finger along what it says, just like, controlling your ice magic. So, have you been just reading at random, or do you believe that you have some magical gift for cryomancy?
I just ignore him and turn the page like I'm reading rather fast,
Engrossed in your studies already. I like it. Now, enlighten me while you're reading. Have you ever had dealings with somebody who you would say traversed between shadows And were they of elven descent?
Yeah, I'm gonna say just nod my head, yes, and otherwise just not really respond to anything else except reading.
What time of day would you say it is?
I believe we are nearing night time.
Alright. Now, since the sun is beginning to set, I believe I will take my leave and sleep for the night. But you should know, you're safe inside the museum. But I have, for some reason, a few guards watching the museum. So as long as you stay in here, you're fine. If at any point you try to leave, I believe you will be chained and sent to an even smaller cage than you were before.
Way to put words in the mayor's mouth, Arthur.
Exactly. I don't lie. I just spread misinformation. Oh, I forgot to say, and I begin going to my quarters.
Is there anything Chaff will be doing at this time?
What more do I need? I'm surrounded by books.
Okay, so you're basically going to spend the night reading until you pass out?
I am going to pass out among these books.
Okay, Arthur. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
You head back up to your room, and just as you're closing the door, you see the sun set behind the mountains.
It's so pretty.
And you're alone in this space, right?
Right? You're alone, right?
I was about to say, do I have to check? Like, am I alone? Pulls out gun. Who's there?
All right. So you close the door to your room. You take your top hat off, throw it on a rack. You begin to sort of disrobe yourself. And something strange begins to happen. Something strange to anyone who's not accustomed to this. But you're accustomed to this. This has been happening to you for as long as you can remember. Your stark white feathers begin to turn a sort of translucent color as the evening begins to dawn.
My room. It's a tower. A really tall tower. It's mostly the bottom floor where I'm at now. It's mostly bookshelves with a large table with a map of everywhere I visited. And countless chests and boxes of things I have yet to put in the museum. And up the stairs, near the top of the tower, there's just like a few windows circling the top. Just like 4 on each wall. And no bed. It's just simply an armchair up there. Near that armchair is just this, what looks like an altar. It's filled with candles of all kinds. And a bunch of... It has... What are those called? The sand watches.
Hourglasses?
Oh, yeah, there it is!
I'm dead, bro.
Sand watches.
watches.
Yeah. The altar is filled with candles and hourglasses. All of different sizes, all of different, like, shapes. Some are cheap looking, some are expensive looking. All of this altar is wrapped in a very nice silk, velvet, whatever you want to call it. Nice cloth. I would say it's a green velvet. And when I see that my feathers begin to look see-through, I sigh. And I make my way up the stairs and sit in that armchair while the rest of me turns translucent. The armchair is pointed at the altar. I just sit there staring at it sad.
Right, and on the opposite wall that you're facing, there's this circle-shaped window that moonlight just pours in and points directly at your chair that you sit in. And your feathers aren't just translucent anymore, they begin to fade. Slowly at first. And then the more light that pours in, the more your form begins to change and shift. Not in a painful way. This isn't a physical transformation so much as it is a spiritual one, as your body changes from the Owlin everyone's come to know to more human-looking figure. Can you describe to us what you really look like?
It's such a reveal! Alright, Hannah, hurry, explain.
Are you a freaking werewolf?
Reverse werewolf. This humanoid figure. Long, light brown, slick back hair. Tied very loosely into a ponytail. I have a well-groomed beard. Very, elvish yellow tint to my skin. The high elf skin color. Very gentle eyes, and my eye color has remained the same. The bright blue. And also I have a hook nose.
What are you thinking about while you're sitting in your chair?
What I had in my youth that I threw away like a fool.
And we go back to a time long before anyone in this town remembers. To a time even before Talva was really a nation to begin with. A place north of where Talva is presently, in the wilds of Narvan, in a rather large city that sits along a riverbed. You're down by the river, sitting on the banks with your pants rolled up. You're not wearing any shoes, and you look over to see the most beautiful woman you've ever laid eyes on, sitting next to you. She smiles at you gently. You feel your heart flutter. And from there, we're going to go to Hannah.
Yo! I can just imagine him catching his breath and the scene just cuts.
So, Hannah, you are in your room. You have your hair dye. There's probably a guard watching outside your door.
Why is he at my door? I don't have the guy. Oh, he might. They don't know where he is, do they?
They don't officially know where he is, but they're just keeping an eye on you guys.
Oh. Alright, well. She walks into her room, closes the door behind her, and then just kind of leans against the door, clutching at her chest, bro, ever since, she doesn't say this out loud, she's just kind of thinking it. She's like, why has this been so chaotic with the police since I've gotten here? It's like I'm just drawn to trouble or something. And she shakes her head and she's like, maybe I shouldn't have apprenticed with that crazy old man. And she starts taking off her hat and slowly undressing to prepare herself to dye her hair. So she strips down to just her undergarments. And she puts a towel around her neck and goes to the sink and just goes about the process of dyeing her hair. She pulls out several brushes that she has, things like that. And as she's doing that, she's just kind of, I'm assuming, is there a mirror in the bathroom or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so she dyeing her hair, looking in the mirror, just well, I mean, he's nice enough. Doesn't seem to want to cause any harm. He's just got his eccentricities. So she's just juggling that in her mind, and she's just debating, what she should do with the information that Chaff gave her. If she should just give it to the authorities, or she should just take that map and maybe go ahead, maybe convince Arthur to go ahead with her. But then she's worried she'd have to tell him the truth about her. So she just carries on doing the hair dye. Which, by the way, what color did it come out?
It came out the color you were looking for.
Light brown?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You missed your chance to give her Pepto-Bismol hair.
No. I am saving the Pepto for a very special occasion. My Pepto revenge will come.
All right. Pepto-Bismol face.
I don't think there's any situation you could give me anything pink and I'd be upset about it.
Who said it was gonna be pink?
It better not be poop.
You green.
All pink all the time.
Oh, pink all the time.
So, is there anything else you were doing aside from dyeing your hair?
Should probably shower after that. And then settle in for bed.
Okay. So it is the next day. be rolling.
Bro, you had me thinking someone was gonna sneak into somewhere at night.
Keep them guessing.
Hannah, you wake up to... I'm sorry, you don't wake up.
Oh,
You're dead.
I'm dead.
I'm joking. I'm joking. You notice as you lay there awake, waiting for the dawn, a sudden tremor. At first, it's almost unnoticeable, and then slowly you begin to hear the shimmer of glass as it rattles from downstairs. You feel it resonate up through the room, and after a little bit, you begin to hear the unsettled sounds of the town becoming active. People getting out of their beds in the inn, and the clamor of the soldiers outside as people are wondering, what was that?
I'm getting dressed, getting my stuff, and I'm skedaddling over to Arthur.
As you come down the stairs from your room, you're immediately met by a bunch of goblins that have deployed themselves to cleaning up various items that have fallen and shattered throughout the tavern. And Natasha looks up at you. Oh, Hannah, are you alright?
She looks a little confused and she's like, "Yes, I'm fine." And she looks around and she's like, "I didn't realize the damage was so severe. I didn't realize we got earthquakes out here."
We don't. I've never experienced anything like this.
She looks very confused and she's like, "Well, I'm off for the day. I do apologize." And she kind of hurriedly runs off to Arthur.
Alright, be careful.
Is the guard with me?
There was no guard at your door when you left, and there's seems to be none inside the inn at the moment. You do see plenty out in the courtyard, though, or in the square.
Yeah, I'm skedaddling. I'm running. I'm skedoodling.
What's your passive perception?
Mine? 13.
Okay. You head on over to the museum, and you enter on in. The doors are open, and you find Chaff laying on top of a pile of open books.
I'm going to look around. Is Arthur there, or do I just see Chaff?
You just see Chaff at this moment.
I'm going to pull out the notebook he gave me with the drawings, and I'm going to hand them to him. Very abruptly, I'm going to put them into your hands, Chaff. And I'm going to say, "You need to give this to Arthur. I worry that that earthquake had more to do with what was in the cave than I care to think."
Alright, so you wake me up abruptly.
Yes.
Bleary-eyed, I take the papers and then go to sleep again.
I love it.
I'm going to pick up things that I would assume have fallen during the earthquake.
Arthur, what were you doing when you felt this shake?
Sitting in my armchair. In the pose where just like my hands balled in a fist and I'm resting my side of my head on it. And I'm just staring at the altar I made.
Resting your face on your fist. At this point, you're in your Owlin form. And you see the candles shake. And the hourglasses shift.
I see them shaking from this sudden earthquake type event. I take a big breath in and just cast an instance of Mage Hand and grab anything that might be falling from the altar and just set it back how it was without moving myself at all. That's all I'm doing.
Alright.
I'm not moving from that spot.
It is daytime now, and you do hear the town, not in an uproar, but there's clearly some activity going on outside. People are moving and clamoring and going about trying to pick up and find out what's going on. Guards on rotation, townsfolk in the square, chattering, rumors flying.
If I've already finished picking up things that have fallen, maybe looking for any books regarding the war or anything after the war. History.
The majority of Arthur's museum is dedicated to magic. So, in order for you to find anything related to that, what I'm going to have you do is roll an investigation check. And depending on what you roll is how much you are able to glean from these books, anything remotely related to the war. So, on a 12, you will get vague mention. On a 15, you will get a little more information that might give you some context to things. On a 20, I'm going to give you some good stuff.
So roll a 20.
Alright, 14.
I just say.
Hate my life.
14 is pretty close to a 15, but it's not quite there. So, as you're skimming through the books, you just get little mentions here and there about sort of the eras that these magics take place in, and some of them, most of them, seem to predate the Republic, and very few of them have after Republic mentions of magic, as it seems that since the decline of the Kree, the practice of magic kind of fell out of date. Most people didn't really practice it, and those who did were usually from outside of the Republic.
So yeah, she's just browsing at this point. I mean, has she been there that long? Is Arthur not coming down?
I was going to say, after a while of just staring at the altar, my black mascara and black leather clothes, I'll get up, not leave my tower, but instead going downstairs, dust off my alchemy or poisoneer's kit from wherever I have it in storage, and begin to make the poisons.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a medicine check.
Medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Medicine. Wisdom.
Oh no, bro. Wisdom solo.
Actually, hold on a second. You're using a poisoner's kit, so it's your roll plus just your proficiency.
Then that would be, if it is a +2, then it would be 19.
So you are successful at making a small batch of this noxious gas. And it takes you the better part of the morning to do this. And you said you were doing this where again? I'm sorry.
The bottom part of my tower. So I got out of my chair, walked down all the steps, and where like everything's in storage and I have my giant table with the map, I just dusted off wherever I had my poisoneer's kit and began my work.
There's a knock at the door of the museum. And without even waiting for a response, several guards push open the doors, and Hannah, you see the magistrate come in. Where is Arthur?
Alright, at this point I'm waking up.
My character looks up from a book and she says, I just assumed he was sleeping. He hasn't come down from his tower all morning.
He hasn't... And he eyes Chaff. And I suppose that he hasn't said anything new?
Oh, actually, she closes the book. He did have that new drawing with him.
New drawing?
Well, it's not from here. Pretty detailed, actually.
What are you talking about? He seems very confused, very frustrated, and not tracking with you.
She kind of walks over to Chaff and says, Here, can I take this from you, buddy? And she motions for the notebook.
I hand it to her while yawning.
And she hands it to the magistrate.
He begins to look it over. Is this a map?
Yeah.
How long have you had this?
I just got here this morning.
He looks over to the guard next to him and hands it to him. Quickly, take this to the captain. I'm afraid that we will have to take the kobold early. There has been a development.
Take him early? What do you mean? What's happening?
Arthur had till this evening to question him, but that was not accounting for the incident this morning.
The earthquake? What happened?
That was no earthquake.
What was it? Actually, you know what? Let me go get Arthur and we can all head over.
I am afraid that I cannot wait for the wizard if he wants to hide in his tower and play with his toys or read his books or whatever the hells it is that he does. That is fine. But the kobold is coming with us.
Alright, so if you want to take the cobalt and I'll grab Arthur and... Where are you meeting? At the mayor's office or somewhere else?
I am taking him to the hold.
Okay.
I am sure the captain will be here shortly to receive whatever things the wizard is concocting.
Oh, okay, so then I'll just let him know that the captain's on the way then. And she looks at Chaff. She gets down on his level and she says, "Don't do anything silly, you hear?" She says it kind of playfully.
I quickly grab a random book and walk over to them.
Oh. She looks at the magistrate. He likes to read. I would just humor him. If you want. I mean, he could borrow that one.
Oh, no problem. Would you like a steak, medium rare? He snatches the book from Chaff's hand. Take him away. And he turns and leaves, throwing the book to the side.
Hannah kind of makes like a... I don't know if the sneer is the right word. And like picks up the book and just dusts it off and puts it back on the shelf. And then she bangs on the door. Arthur!
And Chaff, you are grabbed by two of these guards who are beginning to take you towards the town hall where the holding cells are.
I prefer ribeye steaks.
He actually breaks silence. I prefer ribeye steak.
Excuse me, my favorite cut of meat is...
Alright, I get dragged along, I guess.
So, Hannah, you're banging on the wizard's door.
Yeah. A bang, bang, bang. A bang, bang, boom. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go. I don't have a rhyme for that.
And a bard are you?
I'm not a singer. Or a rapper. Not that kind of bard. She just plays the lute.
So, not leaving my little station that I've made for myself, I just mage hands the door open, but not fully, just enough where you just have to push it. And I call out, "It's poisonous in here. Breathe carefully if you're entering."
Hannah pinches her nose and she's like, "No, just letting you know the captain's on his way and they took Chaff. Because of something related to the earthquake."
I'm gonna have to trust you with the gathering of knowledge from me. I must continue my work here. The poisons must be made. It seems this earthquake is not natural, and I assume it has something to do with the cave.
I was thinking the same thing.
So I must rush my work here to create the poisons to flush out the tunnels.
Alright, well, I'll act on your behalf, but I don't think they'll be as nice to me. And she just starts to head out towards the museum park. Oh, do you know how long it'll take for you to finish the poison?
About 2 or 3 D20s. I can't say for sure. Like I said, I'm rushing my work, but it still must be usable. And that takes time.
And then she's gonna look at him and be like, "Can I disguise self just for funsies? And be you?"
Sure, go ahead. I see nothing wrong with pretending to be someone else for the term of easier persuasion. Just make sure that the mayor doesn't find out. She's suddenly a bit testy about disguises.
I see no foreseeable issues with this. So I'm gonna disguise self right in front of him and I'll be like, "What do you think? How's it look?"
It's not the correct height. And the feathers are the wrong color. Those are like cyan. My feathers are white.
I'm just gonna look at you like, seriously?
Fine enough to fool somebody. Now please, leave me to my work. If you get distracted for even a moment and drop one of these, it'll be a pretty bad time for me.
Oh, go on. And she starts going back to the museum.
As you're walking down the steps, you notice the captain coming up them.
Wait, I'm gonna close the door and lock it with my mage hand.
Oh, Arthur. I was coming to see you. Are the poisons done yet?
They're marinating for a bit. They'll be done. How long did he tell me?
I didn't give you a time. I just said I'm rushing, but you can't rush art, basically.
They're marinating. You can't rush art.
I liked how you gave me that voice.
Can you roll me a performance check,
Gonna
please?
die. Okay.
What's with the performance? You're the only one I know
Because
who
you-
does that when they disguise self.
So disguise self only changes your appearance. It does not change the way that you sound. So you need to
Hold on. Let me see what I add. Hold on. Let me see what I add to this.
Just
Performance, it's 10.
starts speaking like the Swedish chef from the Muppets.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please do it at advantage because you do look like him.
Oh,
So
okay.
roll another one and take the highest.
Ooh, that one's a 22.
Ooh. Yeah, boy. He's none the wiser. Alright. But I do not believe that we have time, Arthur.
Yes, I was assuming that earthquake was regarding the cave. Are there any updates from, I would assume you have some kind of intel?
Yes. My men came back and told me that there seems to have been some kind of collapse. The forest at the edge of the fields, it's sunken in somehow. And the shed at which we were watching has completely collapsed.
She kind of nods her head. Like, right, this is most unusual. Let's just hope this is a natural sinkhole that perhaps took out the enemy. For now, like I said, we must let the poison marinate. And I will go with you to determine our next actions.
Are they gonna start asking where Hannah is?
He's just assuming that Hannah is up there taking care of the poison while he's out and about. Despite how crazy he is and how crazy he's proven to be, the people of this town actually think Arthur knows what he's doing most
I'm
of the
dead.
time.
They'd better. I made a mechanic well for them.
So he begins to turn around and walk back down the stairs, heading towards town hall. Town hall.
Am I gonna do another roll for the poison, or is that gonna be like later on?
Yes, you will do another roll for this afternoon portion, while fake you follows the captain. So go ahead and roll that for me now.
Sick. I used the silver dice.
Of course you did.
This silver dice failed me.
What did it get you?
9.
You managed to make maybe one vial in the entire afternoon. You were like rolling with it so well, but after talking to Hannah, you are
You ruined my concentration!
so distracted by a fly that has somehow made it into your workshop.
I'm dead.
Fireball!
Chaff.
What?
You've basically been trading hands here for the last day and a half. You've just been taken by one group or another back and forth. What is going through your mind right now as they are locking you up?
And I just want to read books.
Good old Chaff.
Chaff is indifferent.
As they brought you here, right? They're not really saying much, and you come in and everyone's just doing that stare of like, oh, it's him. And they lock you in your cell, and you just hear officers, it seems people of higher rank, but not quite the mayor or the captain, are going back and forth about different things that are being decided about you. You hear what's sort of being presented as rumors, but might also be real intel about the collapse of the ground around the shack you emerged from, the possibility of the cultists having escaped, them possibly executing you. Some are talking about an expedition down, an excursion, an excavation. That's the word I'm looking for. Some are talking about excavating the ground around that area to try and find the caves again. And this goes on for a while, until the mayor returns to you. She just stares in the cell at you.
I stare back unamused.
All this trouble over a dead god. It would be a lot simpler if you simply spoke. Do you not understand that your life is in our hands?
Do I have anything to write with?
They'd learned their lesson at this point. They've left you with a writing utensil and some paper, but that's about it.
Okay. I read the question. What do you want from me?
We want to know what you are doing down there, aside from worship of your goddess. How many are you? What were you planning?
I read, you expect too much. I was low rank.
You wear the garments of a priest, so you at least saw the rituals. Am I wrong?
I shake my head. No.
Can you make me a deception check, please? The DC you have to make for this is 20.
Wow.
Dang, bro.
You could do it, Charlie.
She rolled real high on this one.
Deception. As expected.
Hey.
That's a 6.
Oh, it's less. I just want to know how he caught him fibbing and he's not saying anything. Says, no, that note didn't look convincing.
She is staring very intensely at you. I do not think that they would just pass out those robes to anyone. You were selected. Am I wrong?
I shrug my shoulders.
Roll me a persuasion at disadvantage.
Okay.
Is this the truth or not? I blink my eyes. Roll me
truther?
persuasion with disadvantage.
This is gonna be a DC 15.
And I wish I had gotten that first roll then. 9.
9!
Yeah, that's a no.
You do understand.
that you are going to be executed. Yes? The people in this town, and she starts to kind of do that thing where she paces in front of the cell, almost like monologuing. The people of this town do not take kindly to the old ways. They will not take kindly to you, especially not after the murder of the Garage family. And when Boris awakes, he very likely will personally tear you apart, if you are not dead already. You have no reason to continue to keep secrets. Tell us, what were you doing down there?
Alright, on the note, I write, if you want me to describe the rituals, I don't mind doing that.
Please.
As much detail as I can, I explain how it all happens.
After a while, as you're handing this to her, not Arthur, you make your way into the holding cell and you see Chaff handing the mayor several, like a full-on notebook worth of stuff. And she's just looking it over with just this face of pure disgust.
Something not to your liking?
Need you to roll me a performance check here.
Gosh. So it's 9.
She looks up thinking it's a guard talking to her and is surprised to see Arthur. Oh, Arthur, but what are you doing here? And you could see her eyes very scrupulously.
Well, you see, the poison is marinating, so I thought I'd
Again with the marination.
gather information.
Gather. You had your chance to talk to the kobold.
No,
And then say
no.
that you were not even in the room with him. It was your assistant.
Oh,
And
I meant
You
gather.
don't even sound like yourself. What sort of shenanigans are you up to now?
Oh, I see the poison affects one's lungs if you're not careful. I'm quite used to it, but it does make me sound silly for a while.
Roll me a deception check.
Yeah, and also, it's this is nothing like me. I was just gonna it's gonna go back to me. So Arthur, yeah, the voice
12.
is no longer affected by the poison. What? No, this doesn't affect me at all. I wear a respirator.
It's
You see,
12.
children, when you lie, you need to work harder to keep up with the lie. I'm just saying, there's a lesson here to be learned.
I don't lie. I just spread misinformation.
Same thing.
12.
12 is what you rolled?
Yeah.
You're not sure if she believes you or not. She just kind of rolls her eyes and looks down at the notebook. You need to go. You had your time with the kobold.
No, I do not want more information from him. I want to know what our next action is and what happened in regard to the earthquake. I was advised it was a sinkhole. Again, I just want to know our next action. Are we waiting on the poison still, or are we proceeding with that plan?
Our next actions. And she looks back at you sharply and then looks at the captain, who's still oblivious to the fact that you're not actually Arthur. He's completely convinced that you are who you say you are. Our next actions will be discussed with Arthur and his assistant. Who you are, I do not know. The captain's eyes go wide. This is not Arthur?
Hannah just does like a smirk.
He's reaching for a gun right now.
I have known Arthur my whole life. You sound like a dog stuck with
Thanks.
balloon in throat.
She does a smirk that looks unnatural on Arthur's face and changes back into her normal self. And she's like, nothing gets past you, Mayor. No, Arthur's still working on the poison, but he told me to come on his behalf.
You transformed.
Well, I am his apprentice.
Were you the one that also impersonated me and not the wizard?
No, that was definitely
Yes.
Arthur.
No, I will lie.
I need you to roll me a persuasion check on this one.
What is the truth?
I know, that's why it's persuasion and not
Yeah.
deception.
Roll a yeah, I rolled a one.
Oh no.
She gives you the nastiest glare and then looks over at the captain. Arrest her. Put her in the cell with the kobold.
Hold on.
Chaos reigns. I got you arrested and I did nothing.
Oh, man. Alright, put me with the cobalt. Just do it. My character's just gonna be like, I don't understand why I do the same spell. This is why I disguise as him, because you have such favoritism towards him, and I knew that if I had said anything, you would have been suspicious of it, so I did this. So this is your fault, and you have an innocent person in jail. I'm pretty sure that kobold did nothing to. She's just yapping as she's being put into the cell.
The kobold just handed me his confession, and she gestures with the notebook he handed her. Let's see here.
Confession? That's quite a cruel way.
Kidnapping of children,
That's not what that says. That's just a map.
human sacrifice. She's holding a completely different notebook than the one that he gave you. This one has a bunch of writing on it.
Where did you get that from? That's not the one he had.
He just wrote all of this.
She looks at Chaff and she's like, for real, dude? And then she looks back at her. She's like, oh, when we met him in the field, he was kind of... It seemed like he was running away from that. I wouldn't just write him off as someone who was doing that. Maybe he just witnessed it. Maybe he was just forced into it. You're kind of making a lot of
certain
assumptions.
he wasn't just out in the field looking for corn?
He really was just out in the field looking for corn. The goblins were making a whole fuss about it. That's why we were looking into it.
Exactly. Exactly my point. You are not from here. You do not understand what is going on. You are making assumptions about another small creature stranger who is wearing the garments of a priest of Necrochronomia, a goddess of death.
I think I see a foreigner who was taken advantage of. I think you're making assumptions yourself. I think you should look into the whole incident before you write him off as a traitor.
She's waving the notebook in your face at this point. This is his confession.
He was just witnessing. As far as we know, he could have just witnessed it. I'm telling you. He doesn't strike me as someone who would do that, and I think it's sad how you are
Then
allowing...
why was he so negligent to bring this up in the first place?
Wouldn't you
If
be
he truly
scared?
was a victim, would he not have confessed it sooner?
Wouldn't you be scared in the same situation? And she looks at her like, just like really serious.
One of the guards clears his throat. Excuse me, but I witnessed conversations earlier yesterday between the small creature and Arthur, and small creature did tell Arthur that his definition of good and evil was different than Arthur's.
And she looks at him kind of annoyed.
And the mayor looks at him and then looks at Hannah like, see? And then they lock the door on you with you in the cell.
Am I with Chaff or in a separate cell?
No, you're in the cell with Chaff. They took your stuff from you when they threw you in there while this conversation was happening.
Am I, like, handcuffed?
No.
Is Chaff handcuffed?
No. You're just both in the cell. She turns and walks away very frustrated, very upset at this whole interaction with the notes that Chaff wrote for her. And the captain looks in at you guys, and it's not quite a smile on his face. It's not even a grin, but there's something about the look he's given you guys that seems he's pleased with seeing you in the cell.
She's gonna look at him like, you going on a power trip, dude? Like, what do you want? Stop looking at me. She's just angry now.
I do not know what we will do with you. But if you try any more of that magic, you will end up like him, executed. Keep an eye on her.
And he also leaves.
What is this building made of? Is this like a stone basement?
That is correct.
Is there any windows?
Nope.
Regular jail cell with bars?
Mm-hmm. Like, if you thought you were far being the floor underneath him before through thick stone, you're definitely going to have a hard time sending message from here.
Oh.
If that's what you're wondering.
Okay, so then she's just gonna tell the guard, well, can you at least notify Arthur that I've been imprisoned?
I am sorry, young lady, but we do not take requests from prisoner.
Oh, okay, so you guys are just... Okay. She sits down at this point, very defeated, and she looks at Chaff, and I'm like, this is all your fault. Putting my neck on the line, okay? But apparently you've killed children or whatever. And she looks at him, and she says, did you really kill children?
I shake my head.
My character just looks frustrated and grits her teeth, and she looks towards the guard, and you're like, you see? You guys are all fighting for the wrong side. And she just is defeated, and she starts doing a prestidigitation that just plays faint musical notes, but she does it so that it's faint enough that it doesn't really bother anybody.
What tune are you playing?
She's going to just be playing a sad, far-off song. You could say it's from her childhood. That sounds pretty good. I mean, you know, like some anesthesia kind of thing.
I think that's about right. You begin to play this tune, and Chaff, something very strange stirs inside of you as you hear this tune that she's playing, and it sounds oddly familiar to you. It sounds like something you've heard one of the elves humming in the caves. And hear this young elven woman whom you've only just met is playing it as well.
Grab the paper and the writing instrument. Write down, what song is that?
When she's reading the paper, you can see almost like a sadness in her eyes. And then she continues on and looks down and says, just a song. Heard it a long time ago. I believe it's just a lullaby.
I write down, I remember an elf lady singing it once.
She's gonna stop playing and sit up and like get really close to you and be like, how old are you, Chaff?
I'm going to write down 8. Yes, I am 8.
So she just kind of sits back down and she's like, so, where did you hear this song?
Back in the caves when I was young.
And you were young? And then she just begins strumming it again and she goes, where were you born? Were you born in the caves?
No, I was taken from a distant place.
Stops playing again, says very loudly, ah, taken from a place far away. How interesting. A couple questions can get so much for us.
The guards are totally ignoring you too right now.
Yeah, I figured. But she just keeps strumming the music on her air guitar. And she just looks very frustrated and she's like, I wish I could help you, Chaff. I really do. They seem really keen on making you pay the price for other people's sins. But maybe Arthur can help us. Maybe, if he doesn't inhale too much poison, he'll be able to help us.
Arthur, quick, roll a con save.
Oh gosh.
The wizard is in his tower, fighting a fly as he produces the last bit of poisonous gas for the day. The mayor and the captain and the magistrate are in the mayor's office, plotting their next move. Chaff and Hannah find themselves locked in a cell, broken it seems. Little lost, frustrated at events that seem to be completely out of their control. Everyone around them seems determined on seeking out what they believe to be justice for the crimes committed against the Garage family, and possibly events that may be linked to the skirmish that is happening on the border. And Arthur, you suddenly hear a knock on your door as you've lost track of time. You look to the door and then you look back at the vial that's in your hand, and the feathers around your hand begin to turn a translucent color. You know, I'm pretty sure that every DM in the history of DMs experiences moments in their games where players just do things. You know what I mean? I know what I mean. Anyways, thank you again for joining us here at the Silent Bard Tavern to listen to our 6th episode, 2 in a Cell. It was fun, it was full of shenanigans, and I hope you're ready for our next episode, Into the Hole. See you then. Bye.